Well, hello, my lovelies. Today we're going to be talking about The School of Good and Evil, which is a movie that just released on Netflix. It's based on a book series, and I'm sorry if you see the camera shaking in any sort of way or the background might look different because we're filming this in my room. My office is not warm enough to film in, so you're probably going to be seeing a lot of the bedroom from now on, so if you see the camera shaking, it might be me or my cats, because my cats cannot be left alone for 5 minutes. So we're going to talk about The School of Good and Evil. Without any further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's jump into it. Roll the intro. Welcome back. Now, what is the School for Good and Evil? Well, the School for Good and Evil is based on a book series. I'll be putting it up right here, along with the name of the author, because the name slips my mind as I'm filming this. Yeah, it's based on this book series. It is a really well-known book series. I hear it's very popular. So when I heard that they were making a movie, knowing that this book series was popular, I'm like, maybe I'll watch it and it'll get me into the books. Because I haven't read a lot of middle grade books recently. I've been getting a lot of requests for more adult books, thanks to a couple friends of mine, so I know these books are popular. I haven't gotten around to them, but I hear they're really good. And I watched the movie, so all I know about is this movie. I know I committed the crime of watching the movie before reading the book, but now I might actually pick these up because this movie was interesting. And so, first, let's talk about the characters and the plot. The plot. So, starting off with the plot, The School for Good and Evil is a story following two girls, Sophie and Aggie. Aggie and Sophie are from the same village. And in this village, everyone treats Aggie's family like outcasts, like witches. And Sophie is from a family that is very normal for this time period. You know, all a woman is good for is to be a lady and to get married and to have kids. That kind of thing. But Sophie doesn't want that. Sophie and Aggie are avid readers. They love to read. They love stories. Sophie specifically... Can that car not honk in the middle of my YouTube video? God damn it. Anyway, Aggie and Sophie are avid readers. Sophie really likes fairy tale books. And when Sophie hears about this school from one of the librarians at the library, because one of the books that she is reading right now used to belong to the School of Good and Evil. So they find out about the school, and they find out that another girl from their village was taken years previously before. So they think... Well, Sophie does. Agatha wants nothing to do with this school. She just wants to keep living her normal life and help take care of her mom in the village because everyone in the village thinks that Aggie and her mom are witches and they want to be rid of the witches. So the only person that's here for her is Sophie. She doesn't want Sophie to leave. So when she brings up the idea of her and Aggie going to this school, Aggie wants nothing to do with it. But Sophie, wanting a greater life for herself and a life of adventure and magic and being a princess, she decides to write a note in a wish in a tree, wishing to go to the School for Good and Evil. And yeah, they do. They get taken, but they end up in two different schools. Instead of Sophie going to the magical princess fairy tale castle that she always wanted to go to, she ends up dropped off at the School for Evil, where Agatha is dropped off at the School for Good. And this starts a conflict between them and the administration of the school, where they're like, y'all made a mistake, we're not supposed to be here in this school. And Aggie's just kind of like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be here at all. I didn't want to be in either school, but I'll take the one that everyone thinks I belong in. And they're like, no, you guys are fine. We never make a mistake. We never make a mistake at all. You guys are staying where you are. That's it. No, raw deal. Sorry, fam. You are where you are. And in the background of this entire plot with Aggie and Sophie, when the movie opens up, we see two brothers. One is good and one is evil. And the brothers are fighting, and it looks like the good one has killed the evil one. Therefore, leaving that everything is well and good and that's fine, you know? And he moves on to be the headmaster of the school, of both schools. Yeah, both schools. At first I thought it was just one, and I was like, no, wait, it's both schools. There's one principal, two schools. Okay, sorry. I forgot for a second. It took a minute to gather my thoughts. Scrambled thoughts. I'm sorry. Anyways, they go to the headmaster and try to talk to him about this, and they're like, hey, there's been a mix-up. The two headmistresses from both schools ain't listening to us. There's also this creepy, weird guy that kind of looks like the guy for Evil back then. I guess his ghost is hanging around and he wants Sophie for some reason, and Agatha sees him kind of turn into a blood tornado type deal thing, and then she's like, yeah, and there's this guy and he wants Sophie, so we need to get the heck out of here because we don't belong here at all. Neither school. We want to get the heck out. And so the headmaster tells them that, well, if you truly believe that you guys are from the wrong school, Sophie needs to get a prince to kiss her. Therefore, basically, true love's kiss. They want, the whole stipulation is if Sophie can get true love's kiss, it'll prove that she's actually a princess and she belongs in the school for good. And so there's this guy who is the son of King Arthur. I thought it was kind of weird, but I mean, King Arthur is a fairy tale, so it made sense, I guess. But I think the only movie where I've ever seen, like, the child or the descendant of King Arthur has happened has been in, like, a couple different shows, but the most prominent one I can think of for a random-ass reason is the Disney Channel original movie Avalon High. And I think that, like, the whole King Arthur lore and everything is really interesting, so it was nice to see this. And he has, like, I don't even know whose daughter she's supposed to be. I think she's, like, the daughter of, like, Cinderella, maybe? Or something. And she is, like, the typical mean girl kind of thing, like what Ben and Mal had going on in the beginning. There's, like, this prince, but he's with this other girl. Everyone expects them to get together, but then, hey, here comes this new girl. And she's kind of edgy, and she's dressing cool, but she's also really nice. But she has a little bark to her bite, which is Sophie, because in the midst of this Sophie wanting this guy, she undergoes this really cool transformation. She kind of accepts the fact that she's here in the school of evil, and so she's gonna be what everyone wants her to be for the time being to get the necessary end that she wants, which is this prince guy to be her true love. And she undergoes this whole glow up, and she's, like, dressing really edgy and everything. But I'll talk more about that later. I found that really cool, actually. I found that whole kind of thing interesting. I don't think they pulled it off necessarily well, but it was interesting. And at the end, I'm not going to spoil anything else because I don't want to completely spoil this movie in case anyone hasn't watched it. But at the end, Sophie and Aggie actually go home, and it's kind of open-ended for a sequel. So that's basically the whole plot of this movie. Now, let's talk about the characters. The characters in this movie are all really interesting. And this is the part that makes me kind of want to read the book, is, like, I didn't really care for Sophie. I kind of wasn't here for Aggie until close to the end. I wasn't here for either one of them, really. I thought they were really cute. I think the actresses did really, really well. I have been watching the actress that plays Aggie, actually, since she was in Andy Mack, which is another show that was on Disney Channel for a while, and I really, really loved that show. So when I recognized her, I was like, oh, hey, she's in it. I actually really liked her in Andy Mack. I guess I'll watch her in this. And it was nice to see her, and she did a really great job, as well as the actress that played Sophie. They were great. I loved their whole dynamic. I thought they were cute. But a lot of the other characters were just really interesting, like the two headmistresses. They got like Charlize Theron to play in this, and quite a few other people. All the faculty was just like a lot of stars, and I think everyone did what they were supposed to do, and I really liked all of the acting in this movie. Some actors, of course, were stronger than others, but everyone did an alright job. Everyone was solid, so therefore I don't really have, like, anyone really to talk about. But the one thing I kind of don't understand is this whole greater message within these two headmistresses, especially the one for good, because towards the beginning of the movie, there's this scene where Aggie is just telling the headmistress of good that they're not in the right place. They're not in the right school. They're not even supposed to be here. And she is insinuating, the headmistress for good is like insinuating that there's like more going on. She constantly mentions a they, but they never get around to saying who this they was. She's like, no, you can't switch schools. They would come after not only you, but me. We're gonna keep this quiet. And they never specify who this they is. There's also another moment where Aggie is trying to use her newfound powers to save a student that got 3 Fs. Because there's this whole weird thing that if you get 3 Fs, you get failed 3 times, the school automatically turns you into something to help benefit it. And a lot of the times, that's just inanimate objects. They basically condemn these kids if they fail 3 times. They fail these kids. And then turn them into inanimate objects, and that's how they stay for decades. Excuse me. I don't like that concept. But one of the kids that Aggie gets close to is a student that is the son of Prince Charming, and he fails 3 times, and she watches him get turned into, like, smoke or something, and then just is, like, screaming, and it's a really kind of, like, scary scene, because he's just screaming, and there's just all this wind and everything everywhere, and she's trying to save him because he gets turned into this gigantic bird that is, like, one of the birds that work for the school, and she's going to, like, take care of him and, like, try to change him back into a human, and the moment slows down, and her friend gets end up killed by King Arthur's son because he thinks that the girls are in danger, so he takes action like, you know, he probably would. And she's, like, yelling at him and stuff, and then the headmistress, after he goes away, starts telling her again about this they. She's like, they wouldn't have liked you to do that anyways, or something like that, and I'm like, again with this they, and they never explain it. So that whole part confused me. Didn't like it. Now let's just go ahead and jump into my final thoughts about this movie and everything that I have had in my brain and want to talk about. So let's go over that. So first off, my whole first thought about this movie was the costuming and set design. The costuming and set design of this movie was so rich and intricate. I found myself just loving a lot of the outfits and the aesthetics of this place, and I feel like that's a lot of where the budget went because the special effects were great. I really liked the whole blood magic, how they did the whole blood magic thing. It was really cool. The set designs are just out of this world. It truly felt like a solid world that they were in. Each school is different. Like, you've got all the pastels and the pretty cottagecore girlies over at the School of Good, and then you've got, like, the edgy grays and dark gothic, kind of dark academia vibes, or dark fae vibes of the School of Evil. And I really, really liked the costuming and set design in this movie. And the use of music as well was so good. They used songs that are, yes, popular, and normally that doesn't really hit, but like the way that they did it with the movie is that it served the narrative. And when I don't mind hits being used in a song as long as it fits the narrative. Like, that's one of the reasons why I like Barracuda or using the song from Thor Ragnarok, because literally so good. And I Put a Spell on You, which is an iconic scene from Hocus Pocus. It works for the narrative, and that's what makes the moment iconic. And I'm not saying that the moment where Sophie is kind of having her glow up and Billie Eilish's Bad Guy is playing in the background is as iconic, but the way that they used the song, really, really good. I really liked the use of the music in this movie as well. I also really liked the whole creative world that this was going on, and the whole concept of the schools and how they are supposed to be balancing each other out. And I really, really like the bond that Sophie and Aggie have, and how they're best friends till the end kind of thing. I like that. I know it's weird, but I like it. So I really liked this movie. I thought it was good. I thought it was solid. I think I'm gonna give this movie like an 8. Honestly, I found myself really, really enjoying the second half. It's kind of a slog through the first half, but there's enough going on that it still kind of kept my attention while I was crocheting. But it got so good towards the end where I put down the project that I was working on and actually paid attention. So, pardon me. If that's anything to go on, I mean, it was good to me. Again, these are just my opinions. My opinions could easily be changed by a discussion down in the comments below. Also, if you feel like it, could you please hit the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, and I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is coming up pretty soon. But if you hit that button, I'm sure we'll be able to do it. Also, if you've watched this far, thank you. I need the watch time. I am a broke content creator that is trying to get a microphone currently, right now. So, help me out. And I'm glad you've watched this far, because you're at the outro. Guess what? You have watched this all the way through. Hey, and I've included the like and subscribe thing. I know that was lame. I'm so sorry. So if you've liked this video, I believe that this movie was good. If you like anything having to do with fairy tales, or you're just looking for a kind of fantasy family movie to watch with the family, I say, maybe watch this with like 10 to 12-year-olds, because there was some kind of dark themes in this movie. But other than that, I thought this was a really great movie. I thought this was really cute. I thought it does look like they're getting a sequel, so maybe I'll watch the sequel when it comes out. Hopefully I'll pick up the books by then and I won't have to. I like it when I don't have to watch the movie and I've already read the book. I don't know why I like it that way, but that's just me, again. So yeah, if you feel like it, please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to see another review by me, I do these all the time. So, I love you all so, so much, and I hope you have the best day. I love you all. Bye.